Benfica 6 Hearts 1. Struggling Hearts are hit for 6 in Lisbon as Benfica prove a class apart. Realistically, Hearts' only objective in Lisbon last night was straightforward enough on paper. Just stay in the tie. In fact, anything other than a shellacking at the hands of the 38-time Portuguese champions would have been considered a small victory. Unfortunately, any hope, however small it may have been, of achieving that outcome went out the window within 40 minutes. In truth, the writing was on the wall after 140 seconds when the hosts eased in front.
Then I found Lulu Talks tea and everything shifted. Once I started drinking it, my mornings were ruined in the sense that they'd never be the same again. I began waking up feeling rested and energized, something I hadn't experienced in years. My new routine? Just 1 cup of Lulu Talks in the morning. On top of that, my menopause symptoms have eased significantly. I finally feel like myself again, strong, confident, and like a woman who's ready to take on the day.
Curious what makes it different? Scan the QR code now or visit grabdeal.us/8.
2 more were added before the interval, with another 3 coming before the visitors were finally put out of their misery. To be fair to Hearts, this was always going to be a near impossible task. And there's no shame whatsoever in being comprehensively outclassed by a side who would also run rings round both Celtic and Rangers. This is a club ranked 18th in UEFA's coefficient rankings. A club who, last season, defeated Ajax, Napoli and Real Madrid in Europe's premier competition before being eliminated by Los Blancos in the knockouts. Hearts forward Josh McPake is dejected as Benfica celebrate scoring their 5th goal. It's a club who are rightfully considered one of the favorites, alongside Juventus, AC Milan and Bayer Leverkusen, to lift this trophy at the Waldstadion in Frankfurt next May. They are operating on a different level in every single aspect to last season's Scottish Premiership runners-up, who can consider themselves so unfortunate to be handed the draw from hell after exiting the Champions League against Sturm Graz last week. Manager Wouter Vranken could have done without it too. And while this was always going to be an uphill battle, the Belgian can't be absolved of all blame for what unfolded at the Estadio de Luz. He said in the build-up that there would be little value in adopting a backs-against-the-wall approach. But surely, there has to be a little bit of realism too. His decision to start with 2 strikers and a couple of attack-minded wide men was naive in the extreme. On a night when Hearts were going to see so little of the ball, pragmatism may have been the way to go. Vranken isn't under any pressure yet, but this losing run can't go on for much longer. Fail to win against Dundee United on Sunday afternoon, and the heat will almost certainly be on. There have been positive spells in all 4 losses he's overseen thus far, including last night. Indeed, the move and finish by Tom Renaud to reduce the deficit in the final quarter was of the highest order. As was the way in which they showed no fear as they tried to take the game to their opposition in the closing stages. Hearts boss Wouter Vranken is greeted by Benfica manager Marco Silva. Vranken certainly deserves some credit for trying to implement his own style, but there is also the risk of these players becoming demoralized by it all. It will be interesting to see how they bounce back from this. You would suspect, and hope, they will. Hearts' game plan against Benfica went out the window within 2 minutes. Alexander Ba was given acres of space on the right-hand side to play in the excellent Leandro Barreiro, who picked his head up at the byline before finding Rafa Silva to tap home. But Hearts didn't half make it easy for them. They'd already been warned moments earlier when Gianluca Prestiani, back in the side, following a 6-game European ban, drifted inside on the opposite flank and tested keeper Bo Ruse from 20 yards. The Argentine spurned a great chance to double the hosts' lead on 11 minutes. Jordi Altina's feet were seemingly stuck in cement as his opponent skipped past, before firing straight at Ruse from a tight angle. The visitors did manage to weather the early storm somewhat and offered a threat on the break. But both Alexandros Kaiserides and Calvin Miller were guilty of wasting decent crossing opportunities. Benfica's second was once again so simple in its execution, with defender Tomás Araujo getting up over Blair Spittle to head home from a routine corner. Laurent Mendy crashed a thumping header off the bar at the other end as Hearts searched for a quick response. But while the Frenchman was unlucky with that effort, he had no excuse for opting to inexplicably pull back Prestiani inside the area 5 minutes before the break. Tomás Araujo celebrates after scoring Benfica's second goal after just 23 minutes. Vangelis Pavlidis stepped up to confidently dispatch the spot kick, taking his tally to 5 in his last 2 outings. Benfica's fourth came from more sloppy play by Hearts near their own box. Prestiani's curling finish from range was exquisite. Benfica were at 6s and 7s as Hearts passed their way through. Before summer signing, Renaud fired a rasping strike into the net to give the 1,200 traveling Jambos situated way up in the gods something to celebrate. That also seemed to give those on the pitch a real jolt of confidence. With some composure, Hearts could have nabbed a second. It would have made next week's return at Tynecastle a little more interesting, at least. With Hearts committing players forward, Benfica found a fifth through former Aston Villa striker Jehan Duran at the end of a sweeping counter, before Andreas Schjelderup rounded things off with the last kick from the penalty spot after an Oisin McEntee handball. BNFICA 4231, Soares 6, Dahl 7, Linglet 6, Manu Silva 73, Araujo 6.5, Ba 6, Barrenechea 6, Rios 65, Barrero 7, Rafa Silva 7, Suakov 6, Schjelderup 65, Piaristianani 8.5, Kaminski 85, Pavlidis 6.5, Duran 65. HEARTS 442, Ruse 6, Altina 4, McEntee 5, Finley 5, Milne 4, McCart 46, Kaiserides 4, Kurjota 86, Spittle 5, Mendy 4, Renaud 46, Miller 5, McPake 73, Braga 6, Cabor 4, Gendu 64. Booked: Mendy, Spittle, McEntee, Braga.